Good afternoon and welcome to yet another episode of My PI Dream. Today, as promised, I'm going to be discussing the matter if you want to build a house in the Philippines. I'm going to share my experiences where I am at so far and the actual application process and the permits and all that kind of stuff up to the day of building, which for me is going to be this coming Monday when we break ground. So without further delay, let's get today's video underway. So you're over here, you're retired, you have your visa, you can come and go as you please, and you have to live somewhere. So you have to decide, do I want to rent or do I want to purchase or do I want to build my own home? Well, for me, several years back, my wife and I decided to buy some property over here and save up some money, and then we decided that we wanted to build our own property over here. My wife being a former Filipino citizen, which makes her a Balikbayan, gives her the ability to purchase property, and of course I can't do it. I am a foreigner. I can't purchase property. There are some stipulations that I'm not going to get into in this video that have to do with people setting up corporations and businesses over here. But for the time being, what I'm discussing is actually home ownership and residential living. So we purchased a piece of property, and then what we wanted to do was build a home on the property. So today's video is going to be about what to expect and what you should look out for if you're deciding to actually build here in the Philippines. So first thing is you need to find out where you want to build your house. I received a comment from one of my viewers, Tim, yesterday, and he was like, he's been over here for a few months and traveling, and he's perplexed about where is the best place to build in the Philippines. Well, I replied back to him, you know, there's no one answer, because it all is going to be what your expectations is, what your expectations are, and what you're looking for in a retirement community. So the first thing I want to do is I want to state some objectives of your retirement, where you actually want to build. And it could be for a variety of reasons, and I'm just going to name a few that come to the top of my mind. Do you want to live near the sea? Do you want to live near the mountains? Do you want to live near the sea and the mountains? Do you want to live near a city? Do you want to live in the country? Do you want to, maybe you are here and you have some type of ailments. Maybe you need to live in proximity to hospitals or clinics. Climate is a big factor in where you actually want to buy your property and build your house. And also you have to look at any restrictions. If you decide not to build out in the barrio somewhere, and if you're building in a developed community, there's going to be deeds and restrictions within that community, and you have to decide if that's something that you can live with. So another factor might be, do you want to live in an urban community, or do you want to live in the countryside, in the barangay or the barrio, or also do you want to live in a gated community? A topic that you should think about when you're deciding on where you want to live is security. Security is a big factor here in the Philippines. Also, maybe you might think about the proximity to shopping and to public transportation. The community that you're building in, you might think about is what's my availability to water and electricity, and what's the history of that area. It has to do with supplying water to where your home site's going to be, and also the number of brownouts that you have in your community. Let's talk about, once you decided that you've found the location that you want to live in, you found your ideal location. The next thing you have to do is you have to find some property that you want to purchase. So my recommendation is to look for a reputable realtor. That's what we did. We had the recommendation of one of our friends. We went online and we did some research on the realtor that we were looking at, and he's noted in the community. And we selected him, and we gave him our criteria of what we were looking for, which basically was we wanted something a little bit bigger than the standard lots that they have over here. I mean, you can get lots anywhere from 100 square meters up to a few thousand square meters. But most of the Filipinos over here are going to be building on very small lots. They're going to be somewhere in the matter of maybe 150 to 250 square meters. So, if you're looking for a realtor, what you might do is ask one of your family members to help you look for one. You can also look for a on the internet. There's plenty of sites that you can go to, and I'll put a list in the links section, the description of some of the websites that you can go to. But one that I found most helpful was one at homes.mitula.ph. That's actually where I found my real estate agent. He was recommended, and I looked at him on there, and he was all over the place on that site. So when you're looking to buy a piece of properties, you want to avoid some recommendations sometimes from people who are like, I know somebody who knows somebody that's selling a piece of property. There's too many opportunities that could go wrong inside a transaction like that. When you go through some reputable sources, like a realtor, like what we did, most of the time, if you do your research on that, the properties that you're going to be looking at are actually going to be legitimate. The properties are going to be listed properly, and there's not going to be any liens or other owners that are on a title that you won't catch at first. I've heard some real horror stories about it, so you want to avoid those. Try to go with a reputable agent if you possibly can. So when I talk about avoid buying from someone who knows someone kind of scenario, a lot of times it happens when you are married to someone over here and they have family members that might want to be doing some recommendations. What you have to use caution, and you have to use the common sense approach, because a lot of times the family members, especially if you are newly married or in a new relationship over here, you don't know the history of the family, and it doesn't always work that way. But it's always better to be cautious and use the common sense approach when it comes to actually taking recommendations for purchasing property. So you've gone through the process and you've purchased the property. There's going to be, at some point, there's going to be a land transfer certificate, basically the transfer certificate of title that's going to be signed by the Register of Deeds. You're going to get that, and it's going to look just like a regular deed for the property. This is your deed, and it gives you the information about the location of the property, and it certifies ownership. So once you have a good set of approved plans, the next thing you have to do is you have to find a contractor to build your house. So what you could do, you could actually ask your architect, which is what I did, for his recommendations, his or her recommendations on a good builder. You could ask family members, but just as I cautioned earlier, is when you're dealing with family members, if you're going to go by their recommendations, you need to do a lot of research. Regardless, you have to do a lot of research anyway on the folks that you're going to be awarding a contract to, and just make sure that they're reputable, and you want to look at the previous bills that they've done and speak to the homeowners from houses that were built by these contractors. I recommend you find a minimum of 5 contractors to do a bid on your project, and that's exactly what I did. I did 5, and I received the bids from all of those. And what you're going to also receive from each one of the builders is you're going to receive a bill of materials, a BOM. And what you're going to do is you're going to review the BOM, and what you're going to be looking for inside there, what actually is inside the BOM, is going to be the quantities of materials, the quality of the materials, basically the name brands, the pricing of the materials. And this is basically everything that they're going to use to build your house based upon your wishes. So here's where you really need to be cautious, and you need to do your homework. You need to review this very well. So one of the things is, don't be afraid to challenge anything in the BOM. Remember, the contractor is working for you, and he wants your business. So And also, don't be afraid to demand different materials that you're going to use inside your build. Case in point, when my contractor submitted to me the BOM, I went through it, and I actually had the opportunity to live for a couple of weeks with a contractor that actually does building here in the Philippines. And as a courtesy, he actually did a review of everything on my build materials, and he made a lot of good suggestions about items that were suspected not quite right inside there. And it has to do with pricing of the materials. It had to do with the type of materials that they were using in construction, and it had to do with things like labor inside there. So I sat down with my architect builder, and we went over all the concerns that I had, and we worked every single one of the details out, and the house is going to actually be built better because of it. So I'm happy, he's happy that he knows what my needs and what's going to make me happy, and it worked out really good. Something that they do over here, and a lot of people in the Philippines who have built houses over here recommended to me early on, was if you can arrange to purchase your materials for your house yourself, you're going to save a lot of money. You can cut out some of the middlemen, and sometimes, not always, but sometimes your builder might actually inflate the price, and if you weren't aware of the actual price of the material, you're going to end up paying for the inflated prices of the material. So one of the things that I did, I actually went to one of the suppliers that actually a building supply that my builder is going to be using anyway, and I sourced out a lot of the materials up there, and I compared those to the pricing that he put down in the bill of materials, and they were very accurate, and which gives me a warm fuzzy that my contractor is actually legit, and he's not trying to take advantage of me. So now you have a contractor that you feel comfortable with. The next thing is you're going to have a contract, a binding agreement between you and your contractor. So what's going to happen? You're going to get a builder homeowner agreement, and it's basically going to define the terms of payment from the homeowner to the builder, as well as who's responsible for what during the construction phase. What he has to deliver to you, what you have to provide to him, basically availability of electricity, water, and things like that. So as with anything between the builder and the homeowner, everything is negotiable before anything is signed. So make sure that you take the time to review the contractor/homeowner agreement extremely well. It's not that long. It's probably about a 10 or 12 page document, and just make sure that it meets your satisfactions, because once you sign and notarize this document, it becomes a binding document. So everything before you sign it is negotiable. Case in point for me, when it comes to terms, the original terms, I had him modify it, and I'll explain that here as we go along. So you're going to need a payment schedule to the contractor. And normally what you're going to do is going to be incremental payments that you're going to do. That's the way it does over here. This is my experience. This might not be the way everybody works out here, but for the people that I've spoke with out here, which basically are the Filipinos themselves, and people who have actually built over here, this is standard operating procedure for making payments to your contractor for building your house. So you're going to have incremental payments. And an example of that's going to be up front when you on your construction, you're going to have to pay them 25 to 30%. That's about the average before you even start construction. And what this is going to be used for is they have to purchase the building materials to actually get your project underway. So you're going to cut him a check, or you're going to do a bank transfer, or you're going to give him pesos in cash, which I don't recommend that for obvious reasons. So you're going to give him approximately 25 to 30%, and he's going to go out and he's going to buy building materials to start your project, and the project should start within 7 days of your delivery of that first payment. So once construction begins, you're going to be required to do incremental payments along the way, and it's going to be defined upon percentages of completions of the project. And it's going to be something like you will do at 30% of the project completion, 60%, and 90%. You're going to give a specific amount at each one of those points inside the construction process. And again, that's negotiable, and it will be something like at 30% completion, you're going to pay 25%. At 60%, you're going to do 20%. At 90%, a certain amount. Now, what you need to negotiate inside your agreement with your contract for payment, you need to make sure that the final payment is not paid until several months after completion of the project. And reason being is you're not going to know if there's any defects in your project until it could be 6 months, it could be a year after your project, or it could be immediately after the project is done. But you're not going to notice these things until the house is settled and maybe there's some cracks in the wall, maybe there's some leaks for the plumbing, maybe there's some electrical that doesn't work. Now, if you've paid him on the day that you he completed his construction, he has no incentive to come back later on after you start finding these problems and actually fix these items inside there, because he already has your money, he's gone. So what you do is you hold out either 5 or 10% at the very end, the very last final payment that he's going to get, and you base it upon maybe 90 days, 180 days, even up to a year. You define that he doesn't receive that final payment until that point, and then you're satisfied that you don't have any defects inside your house. So you've got your plans, you have your builder, you defined your terms with the builder. The next thing you have to do is you got to start getting permits to actually start building. And if you have a good builder, if you have a good architect, builder, he will actually assist you with getting all the clearances and permits that you need to actually get your house started. Of course, if you're a foreigner and you're not familiar with how to go to the city hall and start applying for all these kind of things, they're going to be a great asset for you to get these things done. So the first thing that's going to need to be done is you need to get a barangay clearance. What is a barangay clearance? Well, basically it's a approval prior to you going to the city and paying the normal government agencies for permits. It's the lowest level of government that you can actually deal with, and it's going to be somebody there. It's going to be the barangay capitan, and he is the lowest level of the of government that you're going to engage with, and he was going to provide you, based upon the estimated value of your home, he's going to provide you with a barangay clearance that you need to present to the city when you're looking for your building permits. So how much is this? How much is this going to cost me? You're saying. Well, when you go to the barangay hall and you speak with barangay captain, you're going to pay something in the area of 1,000 pesos. For every 1 million pesos value of your home. It's going to be estimated based upon what your agreement is with your builder. So he's going to take a look at that. He is probably going to go and visit your build site, and he's going to make sure that, yes, you can build in my barangay. So once you've completed that and you have your barangay clearance, the next step is you're going to need to get permits. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your barangay clearance, and you're going to take many copies of blueprints of your property, of your home, and you're going to take that with the lot title. You're going to take that with a tax declaration. You're going to have to pay taxes on your property, and you're going to have to take the receipt of your paid taxes on your property to the city hall. And you're going to submit all these documents, and what's going to happen is it's going to go through a series of engineers, city engineers at the city hall. And there's going to be a building permit that you're going to receive. After all this is done, you're going to receive an electrical permit, and you're going to receive a sanitary permit. The electrical permit is basically the electrical. They're going to make sure that in your drawings that all the electrical is up to code. Your plumbing or your sanitary is going to be based on your plumbing, your water coming into your house, your bathrooms, how many fixtures that you have inside there, the type of materials that are going to be used, how many water bibs are on the outside of the house, and so on and so forth. So it's a straight cut, and they're going to do the review, but it's good that they're doing the review, because if they catch anything that is not right inside your blueprints, they're going to notify you and your builder that you have some incorrect stuff inside there, and it's going to be for your protection. So once you received all the approved permits, the sanitary, the electrical, and the building permit, what you're also going to get is a location clearance. It's going to be a letter that's basically going to state that what the lot dimensions is on the lot, and it's going to give the location and whatever the when they do site surveys and things like that, it will say exactly with that. So when they come out, if they do a survey, to make sure that when they're building, they're actually building on your lot and not on your neighbor's lot. And what you're going to have to do with this, and the dimensions of your lot, and what you're going to have to do with this, and the builder will actually post this on a site, and it must be visible on your site for the entire building process. And that way, if any inspector comes, they can see that they have the rights and the permissions to actually do the building on your site. The next thing you're going to get is a building permit. That is basically the permit for you to actually start construction, and that's as a result of all of the permits that from the engineers that you received earlier. So now you've got all your permits, you've got your property, you've selected your contractor. The next logical step is it's time to start building. So for me, that's where I'm at. I'm breaking ground on Monday, and what I will be doing is I will be doing a progress report on a daily basis. I'll be uploading videos here on YouTube, and I want it to be comprehensive as possible so that you can see in detail what to expect if you're going to be building here in the Philippines. There's many videos that are available out there. A lot of them are older videos, and construction methodology has improved a bit here in the Philippines. So and materials have improved. So I think it would be informative to anybody who's actually thinking about building here and actually get to see firsthand and the progress of it. And for me, it's an archive from day one from the building here. So I hope you've enjoyed this video today. I hope you found it informative, and if you did, please like and please share. And if you are not a subscriber, please subscribe. I think you'll find out there's going to be a really interesting ride here in the next 8 months with my building of this home. So thank you again for joining me here, and I'll see you next time on My PI Dream.